Well, hello there again. I have to tell you that I am feeling like this may be one of the most, at least to me, most important book reviews that I will do. I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, I'd say this is probably one of the most important. Today, I will be reviewing The Message. What's the message? I mean, some people know what the message is and other people don't. Well, the message is a Bible. And I I have to tell you that I have some backstory with this one, and so this is might take me a while to talk about. Um, I would say that pretty much all my life since I was a child, I've been a Christian. Okay, I've always been pretty much a member of a Christian church since I was a little girl. I went from Kojic Church of God in Christ to United Methodist Church, and now I belong to AME Zion, African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church. So through that path, of course, it's been a journey for me. And each of these churches has offered a different perspective and view of my Christian journey. But I'll tell you that the my path, was always kind of murky. I felt like I was just below the surface of something the entire time. My connection with God through my Christianity was always a little off. Okay. And I couldn't really put my finger on it, right? A lot of my understanding about my faith and my walk came from going to church. Okay. And those Christians around me observing them, me observing, how people interact and the things that they were doing, and so it was almost like a mimicking, right? And so I was always kind of below the surface of my Christianity, and couldn't really put my finger on it, right? So I I took a different path just recently. To tell you a little bit about that. Now, I used to always, I never used to tell people I was a Christian, for one thing. I never really admitted to it. Like it was a secret. And even though I belonged to these churches, it was like if somebody asked me about religion, so to speak, I had heard someone else say, well, I'm spiritual, but not really religious. And it sounded really cool to me. It sounded really cool to be spiritual. Like, what is that? That's like mystical and mysterious. I want to be mystical and mysterious. So I would tell people, I'm spiritual, but I'm not really religious. Which to me defined my walk in Christianity like I'm not following a specific doctrine in this. I know God. I pray to God. I believe in God. I believe in the power of God. That's how I felt spiritual but not religious was defined in me. So it wasn't really just I picked this up and carried it without knowing what it meant to me. That's what it meant to me, to be spiritual but not religious. And it sounded cool, okay? It sounded cool to me. um, then I thought of my belonging to the church houses that I was a part of. I thought of my belonging to these churches as uh like uh like a membership. And I even would go as far as to tell some of my close friends, like, well, me belonging to this church is kind of like having a membership at the Y. Seriously, like, I was very candid about that. Like, it's kind of like, it comes with its perks and its benefits, and you go on Sundays and you get to be around other people who are like you, who are following this faith. They're all kind of in different, levels of their membership, so to speak. Some of them really get this stuff. I don't really, but I'm going, right? I don't get it. I get parts of it. I get pieces of it, and it's like getting certain letters out of a message almost. Like, I'm getting keys to how to pray, and I'm getting keys to how to live, and I'm getting keys to how to be. But I really don't get this whole thing. I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing or not doing. I know all the rules because I read the commandments, right? With Moses. I know those rules. And I think I'm doing okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of always like this, like I was always right there, like never really sure or certain. And it really bothered me because I would hear people say that they were saved. And that was something that really was like that line for me, that defining line. Like, I don't know if I'm saved. Like, I still go out, and I sing in nightclubs, and, I got a boyfriend. Like, like, I don't do the things that I do or don't do make me saved, not saved. Uh, you know, I've had people say that certain people were going to hell because of how they believe or don't believe. So I don't know, like, for sure whether I'm saved or not saved. And being baptized and all these different things, the things that you do in church, and the rules that you follow, and the traditions that you hold, and the sacraments and the things that you say, and there's all of this tradition and kind of like formal ceremonial things that happen in the church. And so I wasn't sure if I was covered because, yeah, I participated in some of these things, but it's not outlined in my membership. I don't know, like the save part, I didn't check that box necessarily. And I'm not trying to make light of this or make fun of it. I'm making fun of me, okay? I just was unaware. I didn't get it. I didn't know for sure. I tried to pay really close attention, when I was in church, to try to get it and figure it out, but I was struggling really hard with this, okay? And I say all this to say, it might sound really ridiculous to some, but how this Bible has changed my life, I mean, really, has changed my life. This, along with some other things that I put into practice. So I was living in St. Louis, Missouri most of my life. And I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2018. Before I moved, I did all this research. I was making sure all my memberships would transfer. Okay, seriously, I'm serious about my memberships. Okay, the YMCA and and the church membership and my Toastmasters membership, like all of my memberships, I needed to make sure that I was still going to belong in these different organizations when I moved to a different city, because that is my social life. That is my support system. That is, me being around like-minded individuals. All of that, what needed to kind of transition in a seamless way for me to be able to pick up this life in this new place. So I remember that I was looking for a United Methodist church because that was the church that I belonged to in St. Louis. But I was struggling finding an online presence for a United Methodist church when I was doing my research. And, the first time around that I did some research and kind of looked, I kind of found something, and I was like, okay, maybe this is the way I'm going to go. And then about 3 months before I moved, I found an AME Zion church that really spoke to me. They had an online presence. I had to go to their website to find it. I didn't find much like on YouTube or anything like that, but I found, or Facebook at the time, but I found that they live streamed their service every Sunday when I went to their website. So that made me excited, right? I get to sit in my kitchen and watch this service. And Charlotte is an hour ahead of St. Louis, so I could watch that service and then still go to church at the time. So I would watch the service that was happening at the AME Zion Church. And at one sermon, kind of early on, maybe it was the second or third service that I watched, the pastor of the church said, "A lot of y'all walking around Bible illiterate." And it was like a V8 moment for me. This thing smacked me in the forehead, like literally. Like, Bible illiterate? What you say about my mama? You know, like, did you just call me stupid? You know, like, I had like this whole reaction to it. But when I really thought about it, I was like, Bible illiterate. You know, man, like, that was who I was. Look, I'm being very vulnerable right now, okay, to tell you. And I study literature, okay? And so because of that, you know, I'm thinking I could tackle the Bible in King James. You know, I mean, it's a lot of this high level language, you know, that you would find in Old English, you know, in Shakespeare. And a lot of the Old English is thus and thous and, you know, all of this kind of stuff, right? And I would get hung up in that language. I mean, there's an elegance and a beauty in it, but it's distracting. You know, it's somewhat distracting for me. Okay, now it might not be for other people, but for me, it was very distracting. And so I couldn't get to the message, what God is trying to say to me in King James. There were times I could read the Psalms, I could read Proverbs, I could read Genesis, I know the story, I know what's happening, but I would only get so far in the Bible, okay? I would start over, and then I try again, and then I start over, and then I try again. I would get nowhere, okay? I'm still right below the surface, right? I can't make this connection. I have no idea what's happening in this book. And I was like, it must be just me. Everybody else is good. Like, I'm struggling with this, but, you know, other people, they figuring it out. Like me, I am Bible illiterate, and I don't know what to do. I keep trying, and I just, you know, I'm trying, though. So, you know, I signed up on my phone for the Bible app quite a while ago, and I've had it for a long time. Like, you know, I'm in tech, so, you know, any new gadget that's convenient is something that's right up my alley. And having the Bible on my phone is like 2 thumbs up for me. I was loving it. So, you know, I'm working on having this Bible app. I'm doing a couple different Bible plans. It's connected to the King James Version. I'm kind of trying to go through this Bible in 90-day plan for years. Okay, did you hear what I said? It's a Bible in 90 days plan. For years, I've been trying to finish it, right? And I was just like, oh, I cannot get through this. Okay. So the church, the AME Zion Church has been a tremendous gift, okay, from God in my life, first of all. It's kept me engaged. I love it. I love the church. I love the sermons. It's very much like the United Methodist because we follow the same type of traditions and the same kind of support system. And it's a international church, right? It's everywhere. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate the culture that's connected to it, the stories of the people who built the church. All of that is very powerful in my life and is very dear to me. So I love the church. That is one part of how I broke the surface. The AME Zion Church, the messages from my pastor have really spoken to me in a great way. I'm thankful for that. The second thing that happened that helped me break through the surface is I'm in St. Louis, right, visiting. I'm at dinner with my mom and my aunts, and I'm sitting there, and I lean over to my aunts. This is like last summer. And I was like, oh, I'm just like struggling. Like I keep having to start the Bible over, you know. And my aunt says to me, open your Bible app and change the version to the Message. So I was like, okay. So I opened my Bible app. I changed the version to the Message. Click. Now, okay, you speaking in terms I understand. Clearly, I understand this message clearly. And I was like, this is unlocked such a great key for me because I used to be afraid of different versions of the Bible. Like when I was younger, my cousin, we had to take our Bible to her pastor and he had to like approve it. I don't know why. I don't know what it was and that was wrong. I don't. And ever since then, I was like, oh, some Bibles are evil. You know, and I'm not making fun of that. I'm just saying that it kept me from veering, okay, or opening myself to even thinking about looking at a different version. But because my aunt signed off on it, okay, and because it was so powerful of a difference from the first time I opened it, I was like, yes. And I was thinking, you know what? It might just be me who was Bible illiterate. It might just be me who was stumbling and, you know, not able to really connect with the word because it was written in this high language and it was kind of distracting for me. It might just be me, okay? The other people may not suffer my same afflictions, but just in case they do, I have to let them know about the Message. The Message is on my Bible app, okay? So now when I'm doing a Bible plan, I am reading the words of the Message that are connected to that Bible plan. When I'm reading my Bible, I am reading the Message version of that Bible so that that message is coming through clearly. And I'm going to tell you that I've been delivered from illiteracy. I've been delivered from Bible illiteracy just since last summer. Okay. I continue to read the word, but now I'm connecting with the word. You see, and there's a difference, okay? I was thinking about this morning, and I know I'm getting long, so I need to wrap it up. But I was thinking about how, you know, I could probably recognize Denzel Washington's voice if I was in the other room and he was on the TV talking. Oh, that's Denzel Washington. Or I could probably recognize that's Beyonce singing that song, right? I can recognize these voices that I hear, you know, that I know. I know these voices in popular culture, you know. I might know, I don't watch the judges, but you might know Judge Judy or somebody like that. When you hear them talking, you know that's them, right? But how many of us recognize the voice of God? Okay, you know the voices of these characters because you've been very indoctrinated in their world, right? You've watched their films, you've watched their shows. When they speak, you can tell it's their cadence, it's their rhythm, it's, you know, there's so much to a voice that allows us to connect with it and know it. I realized that I did not know my father's voice. And if he was talking to me at any point before I really got in tune with his voice, I wouldn't know it was him. Did Leroy say something? Did somebody say something? Did, you know, unless he was smacking me in the head and telling me, hey, I'm trying to get your attention. Wait a minute, you know. And it shouldn't be like that because my father is love. Our father is love, and the voice of God is love. And I know that now, especially even more, care of the Message Bible that Eugene Peterson has given us, gifted to us, the Message Bible that's written in a language that I understand, written in words that are clear to me, is such a gift. It's a blessing. And it has helped me to connect and break through the surface and know my father's voice. I know what he's saying to me now. I read his word every day. I'm on my Bible app doing a Bible plan, doing the open story, the the Bible app, YouVersion. Sorry, I was trying to remember. YouVersion Bible app is such an asset. That's my number 3. So it's my church, it's the Message Bible, and it's my YouVersion Bible app. Those things have connected me to God in a tremendous way. And I just pray that if you are feeling like you're below the surface and you appreciate your church membership, but you just don't recognize your Father's voice because you haven't indulged in his word, you don't talk to him every day, you don't listen to him every day. Maybe you talk to him every day by praying, but you don't hear him every day, you don't listen to him. And in order to recognize his voice, you have to be in tune with his word. This, people say, read your Bible. It's important because that's how you're going to recognize his voice. And that's been a tremendous blessing for me. And I tell you that it is a gift for me to share that with you. And I pray that it gives you a lift in your journey to not only be spiritual, but to also hear the voice of God.